Hi there. If you found this video through the YouTube recommendation, I highly recommend to look at other videos of mine. This one won't be really comprehensive or be crafted in a relatable, ambiguous sense. I'm currently dealing with an emotional turmoil, and I found creating and writing for this channel helps me dearly. If you decide to stay, then thank you. And with that, I present the limitless depth of my disappointment and anger is immeasurable. I don't think people truly understand how violently somebody can distort your perception of them once they wound you deeply enough. It is not simple hatred. Hatred is clean. Hatred is direct. This is different. This is watching somebody you once trusted become emotionally grotesque in your mind. Every memory attached to them begins to decay from the inside out. It's like architecture left behind the ocean floor for centuries, still standing in shape, but hollowed by pressure, salt, and time. I made a video before this talking about two people I was incredibly close with. We were a trio for years, and over time, both of them slowly disappeared from my life without ever fully acknowledging what they did to me mentally. That kind of thing challenges you, not in some dramatic cinematic sense, but internally, quietly, like rust spreading beneath paint. You start questioning your own words in ways that feel humiliating to even admit out loud. Because the truth is, being slowly abandoned hurts far more than being outright hated. Hated at least grants clarity. Neglect gives you nothing, just confusion. You sit there replaying years of memories in your head, trying to locate the exact moment you became disposable to somebody you would have bled for without hesitation. And what destroyed me wasn't even the distance itself. People drift apart, life changes, interests evolve. I understand all of that. What destroyed me was the complete absence of consideration. The ability to watch somebody emotionally collapse in front of you and still continue your habits as if their suffering was merely environmental noise. For months, I carried that internally like a sickness. Genuine resentment started fermenting inside of me. I would watch them invest time, effort, and attention into the other people while I sat there feeling like some forgotten object left in the corner of a room everybody stopped noticing. It bruised my ego in ways I'm still trying to articulate properly. How could people who once integrated themselves so deeply into my existence suddenly operate as if I was optional? And before I ever opened up to them, the person I hated most was honestly myself. Because deep down, I kept thinking maybe I hadn't done enough. Maybe I gave up too early. Maybe my pride poisoned everything. That's the disgusting part about emotional neglect. It conditions you into self-accusation before self-preservation. You start carrying guilt for wounds somebody else inflicted onto you. I convinced myself that maybe if I had just opened up earlier, explained myself better, lowered my ego more, maybe everything would have survived. But opening up for me is not natural. It feels anatomically wrong. I don't know how other people spill their emotions so casually without feeling their throat tighten around every sentence. Vulnerability for me feels like peeling skin off bone. Every instinct in my body rejects it. I would genuinely rather disappear into isolation than sit there exposing emotional weakness to another person. So the fact I even opened up at all should have communicated the severity of what I was feeling. And I did. I abandoned my pride completely and explained everything directly. No cryptic behavior, no ego, no passive-aggressive nonsense. I explained the disappointment, the isolation, the feeling of slowly being discarded by people I genuinely valued. And after that conversation, the two of them separated entirely in my mind. One of them became human to me again. Not perfect, not innocent, but human. I realized that they weren't intentionally trying to hollow me out emotionally. There was actual effort afterwards, accountability, and presence. I could feel them trying to repair the fracture instead of pretending it never existed. And because of that, some part of my anger finally loosened its grip. It felt like finding warmth inside ruins you already accepted as dead. But the other person? The other person confirmed every horrible suspicion I had. And what disturbs me most is that they aren't some mastermind. They aren't calculated. They aren't intelligent enough to be cruel in some sophisticated way. That would almost make more sense. No. What makes them dangerous is something far more pathetic. Complete emotional irresponsibility. They listened to everything I said. They understood every emotion perfectly. They could comprehend the damage they caused with complete clarity, but nothing changed afterwards. The same disappearances, the same absence. That same ability to vanish for absurd amounts of time and then casually drift back into my life like there was an emotional wreckage scattered behind them. That's when I realized some people only learn half of the skill. They learn how to hear you, but never how to change. They can sit there while you unravel your soul right in front of them. They can comprehend every sentence with almost surgical precision. They know exactly what they did to you. They understand the disappointment, the resentment, the grief, the humiliation. They can identify every factor they contributed to it. But once action is required, consistency, effort, sacrifice, self-reflection, suddenly there is nothing there. No reconstruction, no discipline, no accountability, just empty comprehension. It's like a doctor diagnosing a dying patient while refusing to stop the bleeding. And what makes people like this so vile is that they continue existing through life believing listening alone absolves them, as if hearing somebody's suffering is equivalent to respecting it. But it isn't. Understanding pain means nothing if your behavior remains identical afterwards. At that point, your empathy is performative. You are consuming somebody's vulnerability without carrying the responsibility attached to it. And the reason they continue living this way is because nobody truly holds them accountable. They float through relationships, destroying them slowly enough that people begin blaming themselves before ever blaming them. That's the genius of neglect. It doesn't stab you, it erodes you. It makes you question your own sanity while the other person continues existing comfortably. That realization changed something inside me permanently, because I started understanding that this person does not experience friendship the same way I do. To me, friendship is continually loyalty, preservation. It is maintaining connection even when life becomes repetitive or inconvenient. But to them, people are temporary environments. They attach themselves to whatever currently stimulates them. And when something newer appears, everyone else becomes background static. What a hollow way to exist. To spend your life endlessly replacing instead of preserving. To experience intensity without depth. To move through human beings like seasons instead of homes. And despite all of my anger, despite how genuinely disgusted this person makes me feel sometimes, there is still grief underneath all of it. Because I loved what we had. Some of the happiest moments of my life existed inside that friendship. Losing that is not trivial to me. People act like friendship grief is insignificant because there's no funeral attached to it. But I honestly think it's one of the most psychologically disorienting forms of loss a person can experience. Because there is no clean ending. Somebody just slowly stops choosing you, and eventually, you notice. That's where the space in between begins. And honestly, I think the space is worse than anger itself. Anger is volcanic. It consumes you completely, but at least it gives you direction. Grief is heavy, but grief is honest. The state in between is something else entirely. It feels like wandering through the burned remains of a city long after the fire ended. The screaming is over. The destruction already happened. All that remains is ash drifting through empty streets and the outline of things that once mattered. That's what I feel now. Not rage, not sadness, just this strange, emotional purgatory. Some days I resent them so deeply I feel physically sick remembering everything they put me through mentally. Other days, I pity them because I cannot imagine moving through life so detached from the consequences of my own actions. And then there are moments where I feel absolutely nothing at all, which somehow feels even more disturbing. Because what is this feeling? What do you call the moment where someone is no longer important enough to destroy you emotionally, but still important enough to haunt you? That's the space I've been trapped in, the space between anger and grief. It's realizing you no longer want revenge, explanations, or even closure, because some part of you finally accepted that the version of them you loved either no longer exists, or perhaps never existed at all outside your own perception. And honestly, what a disgusting flaw in human design this is. Who designed emotional burnout like this? Why does the mind slowly cauterize itself after prolonged disappointment? Why do emotions eventually rot into numbness after being carried for too long? It feels cruel, like the brain was never designed to sustain betrayal for extended periods of time. So eventually it starts shutting systems down just to survive. Not healing, surviving. That's the difference. People mistake emotional exhaustion for peace all the time, but this is not peace. Peace feels whole. This feels scorched. Like a forest after wildfire where the flames are finally gone, but the earth is still too poisoned for anything meaningful to grow back yet. That's what the space in between really is. Not hatred, not grief, just the slow calification of attachment while the memories remain alive enough to echo through you like ghosts moving through abandoned hallways. Maybe that's the cruelest part of all. Not that they hurt me, but after everything, some part of me still mourns them anyway.